Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Mining Insight, where we bring to you real conversations with leaders shaping our country. We explore this ever-evolving landscape of the mining sector and we uncover stories and insights that truly matter to you. Please remember to subscribe, give us a like and a comment. That truly goes a long way. To support the podcast, please donate by clicking on the Super Thanks button below to make a contribution. This helps us keep these conversations going and continue giving you the quality content. Today, we are joined by a certified career coach to discuss strategies for success and navigating the corporate world while dealing with personal hurdles. Oluwatu Machine is a certified career coach and early career development expert with deep roots in the mining industry. Her journey combines professional excellence with profound personal resilience, having navigated a successful corporate career while living with lupus. Today, Oluwatu specializes in helping professionals unlock their potential, build strategic relationships, and balance ambition with well-being. In this conversation, she'll be sharing strategies for career success and navigating the corporate space while dealing with personal hurdles, because she believes that challenges, when navigated thoughtfully, can become powerful career advances. Oluwatu, welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I think it's been, almost 2 months from the last time we spoke. Yeah. And finally we're able to come together and just sit down and have this conversation. So I'm really excited.
Look, it's an honor to have you
with you.
Let's start with your journey into mining, your personal background and how you got to do what you do today.
Wow. So if I go back as far in terms of when I started within the space, I'm no longer there anymore.
Yeah.
But I always want to, because a lot of the times we always start in terms of I started this particular year or I was in this particular role,
sure.
But there were certain things that I sort of did in preparation for myself into the industry or for myself to get into the specific program that I was in.
Yeah.
So around 2019, so it was about 5 years or so, I got into a formal graduate development program.
Yeah.
At that time, they called it a leadership acceleration. So the purpose was that we get these graduates from all these different universities, different backgrounds, mainly STEM related, and we are grooming them to become the future leaders of the organization.
Sure.
So I started in that particular program, and I had the opportunity to rotate within different stints through the different roles that I occupied, as well as we had the opportunity to go into different commodities as well.
Yeah.
So my background is IOP, which is basically industrial psychology, more on the HR side. So I was never more on this, the technical element. I was more support.
Yeah.
So even going in there into the program, I always felt like, oh my God, I'm literally the only HR person that is in that particular program. But so much learnings. I had the opportunity to rotate from talent coordination within platinum side, doing psychometrics, really getting into the people development, also career development panels that we would have discussing talent, that is people that are considered to be talent in that specific mine, and how do we develop them and coach them as well so that they can stay in these particular organizations. And then from there on, I moved into more of an HR generalist role. It was mainly head office. I'll be very honest, I'm not an operations person. I'm a girl who likes to wear my heels, put a little makeup, and go to the office.
Yeah.
But then from there on, I moved into an HR generalist role. I did not love it. I'm going to be very honest. But something that I learned very earlier on was that every role had its purpose.
Absolutely.
And there were so many learnings that I picked on. Sure. For example, in that particular role, we were moving towards COVID. And I don't know if you remember, we were at that time where some of the mining operations were shut down and they needed to hire a very specialized group of lab technicians and medical technologists and stuff like that. And I was seconded in that particular project where we literally had a very short span of time to recruit these specialists and onboard them and find them and source them. So it was very interesting because it taught me agility and the ability to sort of work under pressure. And then from there on, I moved into talent acquisition, which focused on recruitment. Absolutely loved it. I
Sure.
love the idea of being able to connect someone to their dream company. Because I'll be honest, I work for the kind of company that everyone wanted to work for.
yes.
It was their dream company. So being able to give and guide them through that process, be the first point of contact between the company and the person, introducing them into the role. But what was lacking for me with talent acquisition is that it was very high pressured. So the SLAs, so I love the impact that it provided, but the level of which I needed to deliver and the amount of pressure, because it was very high pressured, sort of led me more on talent development. But then I focused on early talent, which was basically the last role that I took on within corporate before I exited.
Sure.
Yeah.
You are now a certified coach, career coach, a recent qualification. Congratulations for that.
Thank you, Sana. It was a whole year.
I saw. Look, you are an early career expert and a career coach. Maybe talk to us about what that work entails.
You know what? When people talk about early talent, I always like to go back. Because people go like, oh, it's between the ages of 18 and 30. And they mainly focus on early talent specific to graduates and interns that are already working. But to me, early talent starts at grade 9. So let's talk about grade 9. A huge career decision, whether you've got a child, whether you've got a nephew and niece. The biggest career decision they can make in high school is subject choice. So early career coaching starts as early as that, because now you are helping this learner build a career profile through where they did say psychometric assessment on which career paths best align with them. And then you are basically informing them, you're doing your research on these formal programs or educational programs that they might have, and you're looking at the subjects that they can sort of go into. So it's level of intentionality. From there on, we look at high school, right? Exiting from high school to university. Career choice, that's also early talent. Then we also go into the transition of a learner to a student. Again, very different environments. In high school, this person was in a supervised learning environment, and then in university, completely different. Now they're unsupervised. If they don't want to wake up and go to campus for their class, they don't have to. No one is calling the teacher, no one is calling the parent to say, why is your child not attending? So there's a lot of psychosocial skill sets that these students also need in coping in that new specific environment. Early career coaching goes in there. And then helping them build the necessary skill sets, the career profile that's going to attract entry-level roles. Early career coaches there, to the point where they leave university and they prepare. Now they're doing the job search. Again, that's where I plug in. And then when they go into corporate for the first time, work readiness, I plug in. So it's a whole cycle. You can literally see the touch points going from as early as grade 9 right until the first 5 years that they're working for the first time. And then when we come to the topic of coaching, a lot of people sort of assume that, okay, in coaching, you basically telling a person what to do with their career. When they're coming to you, and a lot of the times, because I work with young graduates, they're like, oh, I don't know, help me, tell me what to do. I'm like, no, that's not my job. I'm a coach. There's a difference between coaching, consulting, and counseling. And what I found as I worked with different professionals is that many different career situations, you're putting different hats. So, for example, I might have a client that comes to me and go, and maybe they've had a really bad day. They're part of my coaching problem. Like, all the way to, I'm really frustrated. I got a negative review in terms of performance. All the time, I'm actually experiencing bullying in the workplace. And in that space, I can't be a coach. I need to counsel. I need to make sure they're in a place of homeostasis before I start with the coaching. And then the coaching element puts on the lens of you are not telling them what to do, but you are creating the environment in the space so that they can come up with that strategy on their own. So it's like sports. Right? When you're playing a sports, a rugby, and you've got your team or you've got the person, you're going, okay, this is the strategy that we're going to implement. This is how you've been playing. Now tell me how best to tackle or do this or this. So you are coaching them, and then they go into the playing field, which means they go into the workspace. They're executing, they come back, all right, it's not working. Let's redirect. So it's very it's partnership. More than anything, it's partnership. It's not me being the expert and telling you, do this, do that. But because I'm working with early talent, young people, they're less experienced in terms of understanding the work environment and they need more guidance. So I'm happy to put the consultant hat where I can then give them some level of expertise and guidance on how to navigate certain career situations or dilemmas that they're currently experiencing.
Sure. When you look at the industry, where would you say we are when it comes to excellent professionals or people who are excellent performers?
Oh, wow. It's an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
It speaks to defining what excellence looks like.
Yeah.
But before we even talk about what does excellence look like within the mining space, we need to speak about the environment of the mining environment and is it able to attract excellence?
Sure.
And let me tell you, especially working with young people, I mean, I've been to career fairs where I'm in a mining town and these young professionals don't even know the fields that are in the mining space.
Sure.
They've lived, their parents work in the mines, but they don't know that HR is there. Yeah. They don't know the finance, sustainability. Yes. Outside of being an engineer, there are career opportunities that are out there for them. So if we're talking about excellence, we need to talk about what is the perception that people have about the mining industry. Sure. And let me tell you, Matakonolo, when I started working, and I told my mom, I just got an offer letter. And I'm going to be working in the mine. My mom knows that I'm not an engineer, but did she not think I was about to die?
Yes.
Like, hi, Tanam, you're going to die. Like, Mama, I'm in a ventilated, air-conditioned office at head office. Yes. I'm going to be fine. But what is the perception that people have of mining? Unsafe, outdated, male-dominated.
Sure.
Whereby now, and I'm not going to lie, there's definitely a shift that's taking place now where we're seeing innovation, we're seeing inclusivity, we're seeing future focusedness in terms of what's currently happening in terms of technology. And those developments speak to excellence because it speaks to attracting the kind of talent that are going to thrive in that particular environment, whereby we're looking at a new demand of skill sets. We're looking at data science. We're looking at sustainability, social performance, all these other things. Values, very, very important. Yeah. Young people, professionals nowadays are now values driven. So they want to know that excellence, if I'm going to work for an excellent company, especially mining, are you guys destroying the environment?
Yeah.
And I had that question. Yeah. I remember I was in a career fair. This grade 9 comes to me and says, okay, I know you guys mine, but tell me, what are you guys doing about the environment? Destroying the environment. And that was like the first, I'm like, oh my gosh, people care about sustainability. They care. They have these values. They're not just looking at how much money am I going to make if I go into that field. So excellence is, what kind of environment are we building in the mining space so that we are able to attract high performers? The definition of high performance has changed. It's no longer just technical mastery. It's we're also looking at softer skill sets that people are developing, whereby agility is important. If you are going to thrive in the modern world of work, you need to be agile. Because the playground is very dynamic. It's changing. Rapid technological changes. There's some occupations that might also change in terms of, maybe we were once manually driven. We're now moving to automation. Mechanization as well, which is huge. Process driven, digital transformation. So are we transforming in the mining industry? Are we keeping up? And what I've noticed, Matlokonola, is that the change that is happening inside the mine is happening, but the perception outside has not caught up. So we might be transforming, we might be innovating, we might be a lot of things, but the perception has not changed.
Sure.
It's still very outdated. Yeah.
Sure. Looking at work performance, what top 3 things are identified as something that people should have, or it makes people stand out? And those 3 things is something I would want people to work towards. What are those top 3 things that make somebody stand out?
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
But if I just look at people that I've worked with, I've had the honor of developing, what made them stand out or considered to be high performers is they had a situational intelligence. So a very important trait that when we're recruiting for specifically, I'm going to make a specific example to graduates, is agility. We're expecting these graduates to go into these formal programs. They are rotating. They are moving from one section to the next. And what does that look like? New teams, new management, new work environment, new colleagues. So if they're not adaptable, if they're not agile, if they're not able to learn quickly on their feet, they're not going to succeed.
Sure.
Situational intelligence also looks at the ability of when you're getting into a working environment for the first time, whether you're working into a new job, a new role, a new stint, are you aware, are you reading what's going on around you? What do the team dynamics look like? You know, are you aware of the team dynamics? What about work politics? Right? And many of the times, that is a topic that is seen as negative. People will hear the word politics, like, favoritism, you know, already there's like just negative perception of what work politics is. And it has been that way. But we are seeing a shift where e-politics is now viewed as a strategic move, whereby it's not just about being political in a very conflict, negative sense, but how do you use relationships to forward your career? What about communication? When you're going into the work environment, working in a new team, are you reading how people communicate amongst one another? What does the hierarchy looks like? Because that's how decisions are made. Who makes the decisions in the company or in the team or in the top department? Who is the influential person? And what you'll find is that there's going to be a visible hierarchy, so whereby this person has this particular senior role and therefore they are able to make certain decisions for that particular division. But then people forget the invisible hierarchy, one that is not very clear. And only you sitting and observing, go like, this person might not be a manager, but for whatever reason, when decisions are made, he's always in the room. He knows what's going on before it gets communicated back to us. Invisible hierarchy, right? It's the nuances, the non-subtle ways of viewing behavior. What kind of behavior is rewarded in your space? So situational intelligence and awareness is very important. Business acumen is the next one. Now, business acumen looks at understanding the business of the organization. Now, a lot of the times, it's so easy for us to focus on the work that's in front of us. So we're only focusing on our tasks. We're not looking at the bigger picture. We don't even know what EBITDA means. When the results come and they tell that the mine is performing, but EBITDA is... What is EBITDA? I still don't know today, but I know it's very important. Okay? If you're going to work as a manager at a certain band, you need to know what EBITDA and shareholder value, all of that, right? So business acumen speaks to understanding the stakeholders, the clients that support the business, looking at the bigger picture, the strategy. So you need to look at your role and see how it fits in the bigger structure of the organization. When you think like that, that's when you are able to stand out, get promotions, because you are now focusing on impact and value, not just deliverables. You've gone from an operational to strategic. And those are the people that get promoted. People who are not just focused on their job, but they're always one step ahead. They're looking at the emerging image of what's in front of me, what are the headlights that are in front of me. And they're always focusing on making a bigger impact and be visible while doing it. So business acumen, definitely. I would say the last one is mastery. And mastery looks at not just more on the technical skills, right? So you're going into a working environment. Are you intentional in terms of the skill sets that you're building? Are you building a base of core technical competencies? And how intentional are you in elevating it, in tracking it, and getting performance back in terms of optimizing it even further? Technical mastery means that you also discover that one thing that you are known for. When people compliment you and they're like, oh, Matlakonolo is known for this. You see, if you want to do, she's the go-to person, right? You want to be that person. So identifying your it factor and then branding yourself. Being 100% branding yourself behind that. So, for example, I found earlier on in my career that whenever I got compliments, it was because, number one, you can speak well.
Yeah.
But whenever people need advice on their careers, they come to me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I picked up on coaching informally, even through conversations with, colleagues and the graduates that I was working in. And it's something that came naturally to me. So what did I do? I branded myself accordingly. I'm like, okay, if this is what I'm good at, let me be the top 10% in my field and let me run with it. So definitely those three: business acumen, situational intelligence, and mastery as well.
Sure, love that. Let's look at mentors, coaches, and sponsors. Quite critical elements in success of any career. Maybe break those three down and the role each one of them play.
Is sponsors. Okay, so mentorship, sponsorship, and coaches. We tend to put them in the same bucket.
Yeah.
Ne?
Yeah.
Same thing, but it's not. Each role is very unique. Each role is very specific. So if we look at the topic of mentor, what we're talking about is we are looking at someone who's seasoned, who's experienced, who is guiding someone who's less experienced.
Sure.
A mentor is supposed to help you go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
A mentor is someone that you sometimes have to be a little bit scared of.
Yeah.
Because when you're scared of them means you respect them.
Yes.
Now you respect their time, you respect their technical expertise, you respect the advice that they give you. So they're very direct. They're very good teachers as well, especially very good at teaching the fundamentals. That's what mentorship is. So if I were to make an example, let's say I'm an HR graduate. I'm like, if I were to get a mentor, who would be the best person? Or in terms of e-title and stuff like that. So if I'm looking at a career path, we say HR graduate, after being an HR graduate, you become an HR officer, HR business partner, HR manager, executive. Now, in that hierarchy, a graduate wants to go to the executive.
Sure.
Power. They want proximity to power. I think the more senior, the better. Not in mentorship. Sure. What you want is that you need to focus on your next career move. Now, as an HR graduate, you're trying to get to an HR officer. An executive hasn't been an officer in 20 years or 10 years. So the best person is the HRBP, the one who is managing an HR officer.
Sure.
The HRBP is going to tell you what are the skill sets. They're going to tell you what does good look like in that role because they manage and they've been in that journey. So they're the best person to teach you that particular skill set. And then if we look at, what's the next one? Sponsorship. Sponsorship is a little different is because we're focusing on senior leaders. So we're looking at who are the senior leaders and we're looking at that relationship. So senior leaders tend to offer some level of influence.
Yeah. For sure.
Status, power, right? And what you're doing is you want some level of proximity to that through the advocation of this particular person. So this person lobbies on your behalf. They are great advocates. So behind closed doors, they're going like, this person give them the promotion. This person needs to be seconded into that particular project, right? This person, they're the ones who are in the room and they are pounding, they're pounding the table for you behind closed doors. But people will think that with sponsors, you need to ask them. No, you need to be excellent. You need to be visible. You need to be exceptional. You need to be the kind of person that when a senior person has visibility of the work, they want to pour into you. So sponsorship is not, can you be my sponsor? No, it's not like that. It's not like that. You earn it. And only when you've earned it and you've gotten some level of visibility and reputation, can someone then trust you, go like, I'm going to put my reputation on the line for you.
And they are.
And push you for this opportunity, but you need to be ready. But if I don't know you and you have never shown some level of consistency in performance, how do you expect me to lobby for you?
Sure.
And put my reputation on the line in the progression of yours? Sure. Not going to happen. And then coaches are a little bit different, they're very short term. And if we're looking into a working environment, outside of going to like an external career coach or whatever, the best coach you can ask is a line manager or your supervisor, because they're going to help you achieve your short-term goals. They can provide you technical competencies in the form of practical exposure, the work that they delegate to you. They're the ones who give you feedback to say, okay, you're doing well here and there. There's areas for growth and improvement, but this is what you do excellent in. They provide training. They pay for your training. They allow you to go on secondments. They'll pay for your university qualifications. So if you want to achieve short-term career goals, the coach is the best person, and the best coach you could ever ask for is a supervisor or line manager.
Sure. Hi there. I hope you are enjoying the conversation. If you have not yet joined the Mining Insight community, please do so by clicking on the subscribe button. Would love to grow this community with you. Also, we love hearing from you. Drop us a comment and let's keep engaging. Enjoy the rest of the conversation.
Yeah.
Well, let's see, we can never really speak about career success without touching on well-being. There is very strong coherency between ambition and well-being. Maybe let's reflect on your personal journey, on your well-being and how that influenced, even took you to decide to take an indefinite sabbatical.
Yeah, what a personal question. Yeah. But like we said earlier on, it's important. Yeah. Because I don't think people are as honest as they would like to be.
Sure.
My journey with well-being, or even because obviously when you're young, I just thought, I don't care about none of that. Okay, when you start working and they ask you to select a medical aid, and they've got different plans.
Yes.
Now I remember as I was graduate, we were going like the one that's gonna take the least amount of my salary. That's the one that I'm gonna go for, right? Why am I going to go for the one that's going to charge triple them? Exactly, for what? I'm still young, I'm fresh, Yeah. So I had that perception as well, starting off my career and stuff like that. But life happens, right? Life happens, situations happens that you don't always plan for. So around in my second year working, I was still a graduate at the time. Around the time when we had COVID. You remember when COVID was happening and things were shutting down and stuff. I started to get sick, and I never, I didn't really know what was going on. Sure. And at that time, we had suspected that it was COVID. Yeah. I got admitted in hospital, and after couple of months being there and being told I've had this, but I didn't have this, and then being told to go home and then coming back because I'm getting sick again. That's when they sort of discovered that actually you've got an autoimmune disease and you've got lupus. Sure. What was so interesting when I got that diagnosis.
Maybe start with what lupus is.
What lupus is, okay. Because many people don't know, right? So it's an autoimmune disease. So think about your immune system, right? When there's a bacteria or something that doesn't or should not be there that's fighting your body, it's going to use its cells to attack whatever, to get rid of or to flush out whatever's not supposed to be there. Now with lupus, it mistakes your healthy organs for that, for being invaders or whatever, bacteria, whatever it is. So it is always on high alert. It is attacking the body from the skin to the blood to any organs in your body. Sure. So that's what lupus is. Yeah. And I remember when I was told I had lupus, I didn't really understand, like, what do you mean? What is that? The only person I knew that had lupus was Selena Gomez, the singer. I'm like, okay, she's got lupus, but what is that? Yeah. Right? So it didn't register me until the doctor then sat down and said, well, now that you've got lupus, you better not tell your employer, because you know what? If there are retrenchments, you're going to be the first person to go.
Sure.
Now, imagine me in my mid-20s, and someone's telling me, you better not tell your employer that you've got lupus, otherwise you're gonna be retrenched. I was like, hey, Bo, is it a bad thing?
Yes, it's
you know?
bad. Yeah.
But obviously I chose honesty. I chose, being open about it, because how was I going to get support if I was not forthright in terms of what I had? So I tried, navigating my career, and it's tough because the symptoms are there, the chronic pain, the fatigue. Your body is never the same.
Sure.
I always say that if a normal person is operating at 1 meters per second, in terms of speed, I'm at 0.3.
Sure.
So I had to learn to function in that particular body. And unfortunately for me, it took me, for me leaving corporate, to go like, I never put myself first. I never put my body first. I was so hung up in trying to prove, yes, I know I'm sick, but I can still do it. I can still do it. I'm capable. I don't want to be seen as someone who's not capable because of this thing. So I never internalized it. And because of that, I burnt out. I burnt out. I didn't, speak up. And that led me to then take that indefinite sabbatical. I didn't have a choice.
Sure.
My body told me, stop. Right? And when I had then gone into that sabbatical, it was like almost like a week or two, even less than that. My body just shut down, and I was literally bedridden for like a few months. Literally a potato. My husband could tell you, I was literally a potato. And it was almost like my body gave me like, now that I don't have the pressure, you can rest. It's okay, rest. You don't have to put on the mask that you're okay. And I felt like that I always put that mask on. I'm okay. I always put that mask, and I never fully advocated for myself.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm a bit emotional.
It's okay.
Take a pause.
Take your time.
Yes, so now for me, ambition doesn't look like... It's different.
Sure.
Well-being goes together with ambition. It's knowing yourself. It's knowing the boundaries of your body. And it's ensuring that you're always in a space where you're also okay. Because that's the point of achieving all of this, if it's destroying you, right?
Yeah.
If you're not taking care of the self, you're destructing. It's self-destructive. So I've learned to actually balance the two and know that they work in tandem. And also just the level of appreciation to go like, okay, this is what my body can do today, and I can take it. Interestingly enough, being open and honest about, what I have and stuff like that, even with clients as well, does help. Because I've seen that level of vulnerability opens genuine connection. When I'm tired and I don't want to wake up and I've got a client session that I need to do, now I'm doing it on the bed. And I've now had my graduates go like, and they'd also be like in the bed, like, because that's how it is, and that has opened some real deep connection where the coaching relationship has now built that level of rapport where there's honesty and trust. And because I entrusted them with this information, they're able to trust me as their coach. So it's knowing how to navigate around it. And that's the level of well-being as well as ambition, and how those go together.
Sure. Oluweti, look, personal challenges look different for different people. There's people who are navigating their careers going through divorce. There's people who are navigating it, dealing with addiction, or having children who've got dire diseases, or even they are going through, a disease. But you used your journey to advance your career. Maybe just talk to that and how somebody can continue to navigate their career even when they are going through the hard stuff. How did you get to use it to advance your career?
When we always face with a situation, whether it's negative or a personal challenge, I now ask myself, what is this here to teach me?
Sure.
Because a lot of the times you'll experience something, you're like, why is it happening to me? Why not this person? Why do I deserve, why am I so, like, why is this happening to me right now when things are going so well? So my outlook now is focused on, what is this thing here to teach me? And a lot of the times what I've found, the challenges have not become teachers because I look at it in a way whereby I go, Yazi, this thing is happening because I need to fix an area of my life. If I'm going to expand myself and go to the next level, I need to experience these kind of challenges.
Sure.
I need to be able to experience when things are not perfect, because it builds some level of resilience. Whereby if you had something that could almost broke you, nothing, work deadlines are nothing. Like, what is that?
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
And now your resilience is not just theoretical, it's lived. It's a lived experience. And like, if I can deal with this situation, this is nothing. What are we doing here? Like, I'm fighting like monsters every day. And you're telling me about the deadline. Salapants, relax. It's good. I'm going to come to you.
Yes.
So that's how I've sort of framed it, in a sense that it's supposed to grow me and build me. And instead of me seeing it as a thing to hurt me, it elevates me to the next level.
Sure.
And I've seen it with my own situation, whereby I had to go through this journey, which was not easy. It was very painful, but it was very transformational.
Sure.
Because looking at just from a spiritual sense, I go like, Yazi, had things been perfect, I wouldn't have made this career pivot that I've made.
Yes.
This is when I'm at my zone of excellence. This is my zone of genius. This is where I'm great at. And I wouldn't have made that jump from a comfortable role, a comfortable job in a comfortable company to go like, I'm now being forced to leave this environment.
Yeah.
But it's because I've got this thing that I've been trying to get you into. Now I'm forcing you out of here so that you can build this particular thing. And I've realized that actually has always been my purpose. As much as I've always wanted to go into corporate, I always knew that corporate wasn't where I was going to stay forever. It was just momentarily to build certain skill sets and leave. But Lupus made me leave quicker.
Kicked you out.
It kicked me. It was like, it's time. So I see it in that sense as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look, resting and taking breaks is another investment to well-being. How do we get people to prioritize resting? Because I can tell you now in the industry, particularly in senior management, people are tired, people are burnt out, and they're actually on autopilot and they can't even realize it. How do we get people to prioritize resting, and how should resting even look like?
We prioritize people with resting when they realize that if you are to die tomorrow, a job advert is going to come 24 hours in replacement of you.
Sure.
You are replaceable. You are a number. And we should stop trying to marry ourselves in these roles and companies, thinking, if I don't take this leave, things are going to fall apart. If I'm sick, no one's going to know what to do. If you were to fall and collapse, they're going to get Tabang to go do your work. They're going to make him act into your role. Yes. Don't think that you're replaceable. Yeah. So resting is important because resting goes with ambition.
Yeah.
It's not separate. It goes together. You want to perform at your highest. You need to give yourself breaks of rest and solitude and re-energizing. So they go hand in hand. They go in tandem. And I think we've created such a very hustle culture, very toxic, whereby people, like I said, they're number one, they're married to their roles, but they're also they don't feel psychologically safe to rest. They feel that they need to prove themselves over and over and over again. And because of that mindset and that culture of rest is always seen as like, why this person's always taking leave. And they're out of office again. However, when are they coming back? They're sick again. And you hear those comments. That's the culture that's been embedded. So if we talk about resting, we need to speak about what does the culture think of resting. Does the culture celebrate it, or does it go like, hey, when I come back, we've, go work your salary, And that unfortunately still needs to change. It speaks to the workplace culture does it promote people's well-being and rest?
Sure.
And that will then determine how people respond and their behaviors around the topic. If they're being burnt out, what does the culture do and advise?
Sure. How do we get companies, and I want you to advise particularly leaders on how to protect individuals against personal issues or hurdles? I mean, if somebody has got like that kind of disease, how does the company protect them against that? Because it actually works for both the company and the individual when we protect them against their own challenges.
We can talk about companies, but we need to talk about the self. How are you protecting yourself? Right?
Sure.
I never protected myself. And I'm sure had I put my hand up and went like, I need help, certain services like an occupational therapist, and something that I literally just found out when I had left to go like, this is something that is actually afforded to people like me, right? Who are sick, who had illnesses or disabilities and all these other things that you can request for this person to be your advocate. Because sometimes you don't even know how to even advocate, right? Whereby this person will look at your working environment. They might even readjust your role to go like, if this person requires to travel, this person can't travel, cut it by 30%.
Sure.
This person needs to be working at home 2 times a week instead of being at the operations every day. Sure. This person, because of their condition, they can't work outside as much because of the sun and impacts whatever. So whatever illness, whatever disability, you have the right to an occupational therapist. But they don't tell you that, do they? They don't want to spend more money on that. So if you don't know, you're not gonna, you're gonna find out very late. Yes. So how do companies protect people? They'll push an EAP, an employee assistance program. Like, here's an EAP, psychological issues. Okay, go to the psychologist and tell them your problems. Oh, you don't know how to manage your finances? Go to the finance, whatever counselor, whatever is in that employment assistance program. And they think when they do that, it's enough. That's how they're protecting us. But well-being, again, it speaks to the culture. It's more than just a brochure, an EAP brochure. It speaks to the culture. It speaks to the policies that are embedded within the HR space when it comes to DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And how does that also look like from a well-being, wellness perspective? Not just physical, but also mental health. How is it seen and embedded and protected? How are we protecting employees who actually have those issues? It speaks to that. But also, we cannot speak about the protection of employees. Like you've mentioned, if we're not mentioning the people who manage those employees. EAPs are great, but what works better is a line manager who cares. We have to look at compassionate leadership.
Sure.
Because if the culture does not allow one to put up the hand and go like, I need help. That means there's no psychological safety in that environment, right? The only way people get protected is the line manager, because the line manager is your closest proximity to experience of the working environment. A line manager is able to protect you when you're vulnerable. A line manager who hears you out, who's able to adjust certain things, move things around to accommodate you in that season of your life. And now it might not be forever. Maybe your child has passed away, right? A line manager is going to go like, okay, how can we support her? Take 50% of her workload right now. Do this, do that. So we can talk about protection with programs and psychologists, but culture and a line manager who cares is the best employment assistance program you can ever have.
Sure. Look, Oluchi, thank you so much for pouring your heart into this.
And I was crying. Did they tell you that?
And just maybe one last thing. At the heart of what you do is professional excellence and getting people to have success in their careers. What's that one message that you'd like professionals across all board to know?
Excellence is intentional.
Sure.
You can say you want to be excellent, but if you're not intentional about it, it will never happen.
Absolutely.
So I've found that when you're intentional, it builds clarity. Because when you're intentional, you know who you are in the present moment. You know who Olwetu is. You know your struggles, your developmental gaps. You know what you're good at, right? And when you know where you are, you can then plan for where you need to be in the next 2 to 3 years to the next 5 years. So you are intentional in building you in this season in preparation for the other season. Because the other season requires elevation. So I cannot be the same Olwetu that I was today in preparation for Olwetu in the 5 years when she's running her private practice with however many people.
Yeah.
I need to be a better version. So intentionality means I'm developing my skill sets as well. How does my development look like in preparation for that particular role? You develop your skill sets. You also look at your career goals.
Yeah.
A lot of people are in jobs, and if you were to ask them, hey, but what's the next career move after this? They don't know.
Yeah.
They're really just like focused on what's in front of them. Like, I'm just trying to focus on what's here. Everything's burning down, and I'm just trying to put off, just sort out the thing. I'm like, no. You need to know where you're going to be in the next 2 to 3 years. Otherwise, when are you going to stay in that role where everyone else is progressing and growing? Yeah. And sometimes other people might go like, actually, I'm fine where I am. And that's okay. Not everyone's meant to be the CEO or the executives.
Sure.
Some people are better from an operational perspective. They're very good operators. But if you put them in a leadership position, they're going to completely fail.
Sure.
And I've seen people intentionally choosing to even downshift. Someone who might have been a manager goes like, you? God, it's like this? Yeah. You're telling me that I don't have any breaks? You're telling me the board is an exco is on my back half of the time? I'm developing diabetes and all sorts of mental health issues. Put me down. Yes. I'm willing to take a salary cut for my mental health. Sure. So it is knowing who you are in the present moment and what you're trying to build in the future, and then putting steps and strategies to help you get there. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Ambition coupled with well-being are super hacks for career success. Be sure to take care of yourself. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye and God bless.